that list.
Okay.
1
He
and 4.
threw
Well,
toilet
4 and
rolls
1
at
then.
me. Bitch.
Telling you to wipe your ass.
I wipe side to side. Is that weird?
Do you just like lay the toilet roll over the bowl and then just like shuffle on it?
Yeah. I don't even use my hands. I can't reach.
Oh, that's got to be made into a short. We'll just blur out the gambling aspect. It's fine.
The short's just
It's
going to
right, we're over
be
25.
cringing.
Exactly. It can be you in the middle of me and Callum.
Check it out.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us how you really feel.
Fuck off, Siri.
I'll let Callum finish his drink first.
Finish it.
Like your mouth full. Your mouth full, you muppet.
Oh,
Okay.
we
Let's
like to
go.
drink with Callum.
Because Callum is our mate. And when we drink with Callum, he takes it
No.
down in 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Yay!
At least there won't be no.
Ah!
At least there won't be.
It was
about it
still
being cold.
warm.
Yeah.
Ow!
It's like breathing fire now. At least there won't be any like. Bleh, it's too cold. I don't know what my
a
face.
Fanta or an Iron Brew?
Neither.
What is it?
Can you not tell?
No, your fat hand's in the way, bruh.
You sure? Can you not see it?
No.
It's the size of a can.
A can of Coke, yeah.
Is it a 330?
My hands aren't
No,
that
it's a
big.
Coke.
No, is it like the size of it? Is it 330 ml?
Oh, Kellum, that looked orange to me. That's why I thought it was Fanta or...
Yeah,
To be fair,
yeah, it is.
it did look a little bit orange to me as well. So.
Right.
Fucking hell, that's a standard can size, that. Oh.
Yeah. That's why I get the big Red Bull, so I actually feel like a normal person.
Right, you're going to have to give me a bit of notice if you want mittens. Alright.
Right, are you ready?
You
I'm
know
about
those
to intro
baseball
it.
gloves with those fingers
Baseball
now?
mitts.
Just make them.
That would be normal.
You're
don't like
married
that
to
sentence.
yourself?
Just say it like that. Oh, fucking Christ. Right, anyway.
Welcome back to the Geeky Chaos Podcast.
That was quite good.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm a man of many talents. Oh, trip fives!
Right, are you guys ready for me to start? I never
Oh,
had an answer from Callum.
full house!
Oh, God.
Give me your money. Oh, you folded.
Oh, welcome to the Geeky Chaos Podcast. I'm AJ.
Whoa, whoa. Chair started wobbling. I got too excited. This is your fault for making me down the coffees.
We'll try that one again. Don't break
He's
chair
going
this
to
time,
be like
Callum.
aggressively shaking in a bit.
He's just going to be vibrating like...
Someone's
Right.
good about streaming.
Oh, flipping out.
Take 2?
Take two.
Fuck off! I don't want to go all in.
Callum,
Oh,
stop
yeah,
your
pressed all
gambling.
in. Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm winning!
And he's going to lose.
Yeah! Full house!
Congratulations.
Oh, I'm all in again. I didn't even do it. Oh, I won. Yeah.
Oh, there's so
Oh,
many
fucking
emotions.
bastard, I lost. What happened? I had 90%.
Oh my goodness. That was emotional roller coaster, wasn't it?
A little bit. I got naked noodles on my desk.
Ah.
Naked.
That's the
I'm
brand.
so glad you said noodles.
I got naked on my desk.
I'm so glad you said noodles.
No, I don't think my desk would support my weight if I got naked on it. Anyway, moving on.
Oh, holy crap.
And welcome back, or welcome to the
Oh,
Geeky Chaos
God.
Podcast. I'm AJ.
I'm Callum.
And that's Holly.
And let's begin.
Holy fuckers.
Are we taking that as the intro?
I don't think so.
That didn't go very well.
One more time. Third time lucky, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Why have I got a fork on my desk?
I think you forgot the Lee at the end there.
Forkly?
I just said absolute.
Oh,
Right. Let's
I don't barely know Lee. There we go.
God damn. Oh, nah, this
You cheeky little bitch.
this is you.
Is?
Oh, good heck.
Hello and welcome back, or welcome to the Geeky Chaos Podcast. I'm AJ.
I'm Holly Beth.
I'm Callum.
Yay!
Question.
I weren't
mark?
sure if you were like waiting to say it at the same time.
I was waiting for you. I was told to talk after you.
At least he listened to that bit.
Fair enough. Hi, hello. It's been a
Hi.
while.
It's been a while since we've actually sat down and like done one of these ones. We've had a couple of like gaming ones, like to fill the gap.
Yeah.
Because life's been a bit busy, and we've
Yeah.
all had spells of being unwell, apart from Callum.
Very unwell.
I'm
Yeah.
always unwell.
But
Mental.
also we realised when we actually got into the VC that we actually haven't just actually sat down and
I
chat
just
about
had a chat for a while.
crap. Just
I'm always sad.
sorry, you're gonna have to bleep that one out.
Nah, but we haven't had a
Oh,
proper
just
like
chat.
catch up. Like we've spoken, obviously, in between podcasts
Mm,
and like
yeah.
gamed and that, but we haven't had a proper just like chat.
Yeah. What?
Callum just nearly fell off his chair.
I think my chair is broken a little bit. It's wobbly. What on this
Oh, I
side?
think so.
I think so. I think I've finally done it.
So you've been actively trying to break your chair.
I'm on the side.
I'm on the edge of glory.
Oh.
Oh, I got hiccups again.
Oh. But yeah, it's been a while. Life's been busy, and we just haven't had the time to properly sit down and have a chat.
I'm trying to move you so I look like I'm looking at the camera. Yeah, hello.
Hi,
yeah.
yeah.
Hi.
If
Yeah.
this isn't your first time watching the podcast and you have watched previous ones, my room is a bit echoey. Yous will know that me and Nibs are kind of both streamers, and Callum's
We're
one.
both on break at the moment.
Yeah, we've
Because
had a
sounds
lot
like we're
going
talking
on
about
in life.
us. We're on a break. No,
God,
we're on a
really,
streaming
we'll be
break.
setting the Guinness World Record for marriage. Oh.
Inside joke. Yeah. No, we're both on a break at the moment.
Yeah, we've had a lot going on.
Mhm.
Yeah, both online and in real life. You know, shit's been a mess, bruh.
Life be like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Let's make this a therapy session.
That's just how like
What's
we're gonna
been
start
going
like
on?
the topics of like our podcast now. Let's talk about it.
And
We should
welcome to the
name
therapy
it.
session.
Name it that. Let's talk about
Can
it.
we rename the podcast to Geeky Therapy Session?
I don't think we're qualified.
Geeky Chaos Therapy.
Geeky therapy sessions.
Is that not what I said? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah,
Yeah?
we've had this plan to kind of talk about this for a while, but we just haven't because we haven't sat down for a while. Jesus Christ, Helen, Jesus Christ. But we thought it'd be.
Sorry, I'm getting my vote.
I guess it's like an insight almost to like the behind the scenes of streaming, like
What up, baby?
our experiences.
Funny with this guy. He's like,
You made
"What
me
up,
down
baby?"
What up, baby?
We didn't make you, you chose to.
I'm pretty sure I heard the song, that therefore you have to down it. The rules, isn't it?
This is probably going to be a multiple part conversation. We're
Yeah.
not going to get it all done in one, probably not two, maybe three, even four.
It could be
of
a
the
good
same
little like
topic.
series of podcasts, you know?
Yeah, well, the whole point of being online is that you have this online presence, and I think, just like we were talking about before, one of the reasons we started this actually was that
Hey!
we could...
Get inside, dickhead!
We both did the same thing then. We just both leant over to the side and started laughing.
Sorry.
You chatting to your dog?
No, my mum. She often goes outside and barks at the neighbours.
Oh god.
Sorry. Did I derail this? Derailed? Disrailed?
Ryan!
I expect you to shout out the window. I thought you tried to close it.
Oh my god. I don't remember where we were.
Yeah, this would be like a
Yeah.
series, wouldn't it? And you were saying about having like an online presence and like why we kind of originally started this.
Yeah, it's because we were going to talk about subjects that maybe some people are a bit too scared to talk about, and
Yeah,
talk about things
kind of
that
the
like the
taboo of
reality of
streaming.
it.
Yeah.
Like everyone tells you when you go into a stream that if you say, "Oh, what's your opinion? Should I start streaming?" Most of the time, people will say, "Oh, it's one of the best things I ever done," because it is. But no one really tells you in that moment, because obviously no one's going to be that negative to turn around and say, well, this happens, and there's so much. This isn't going to be very negative heavy, but there is so many things that aren't good behind the scenes that you should be aware about before you start streaming, and stuff that we didn't realize before we started streaming, for example, or how much it could affect us, for example. It's just things that just don't really tend to get. The side of streaming that just gets forgotten
It's also
about.
like the things outside of streaming that people don't realize, like Discords, for example. Like, yeah, you may have like a Discord that like you have for streaming and that, but like everyone needs their downtime away from it, you know? Like, you don't want to be in Discord 24/7 feeling like you're there because you stream. Like, sometimes it's just nice to just like chill out, like with either with friends in Discord or just away from Discord, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that people don't realize. Not saying that Discord is a bad platform. Discord's brilliant, you know.
Discord's fantastic.
But it's small things like that that people don't realize that I think we want to kind of bring light to and maybe offer advice about, or like our experiences in that as well.
I mean, it's kind of And I mean, just to mention as well, we've been doing this for years. Like we've been doing. You've been streaming for.
This year will be 2 years. Fucking hell.
So 2 years was that in autumn?
October.
Yeah, so October, autumn. And if I hadn't had such a big break this year, it would have been 5 years in September. Well, actually earlier than that, but regular stream September. So it's yeah, I started in 2018. So
that's-
we've been
yeah,
doing it
5
a
years.
fairly long time.
We have our fair share of
Um,
experience.
Yeah, and I mean that's.
No, but you have experience in a
I feel
different way,
like I should
Callum.
probably ask the questions here.
Like, you've got the experience on the
Otherwise, I'm
side
not
of
going to talk
things.
this entire podcast.
Like, obviously, like we have all modded and that sort of stuff to do with Twitch, but like you have that side of experience that you can talk about what people may not realize
I
from that
want to
perspective
ask,
of streaming.
because you sort of went over it very quickly. What is the things, say if I wanted to stream, what is the most things you would probably tell me to look out for?
People that
Sorry, that
try
was
to
a very
get you.
worded question.
Yeah, I was
No.
trying to word it in my head. People that are like follow for follow schemes.
Mm.
Like that's a big one. Like
Okay.
people don't realize that a lot of that is fake support. You know, like yeah, everyone wants to get affiliated and everyone wants to do it as quick as possible, but the quickest route isn't always the best. It takes time for a reason, and that time teaches you a lot.
With the follow for follow scheme, pretty much none of those are real people that actually care about your stream.
A lot of the time, it's one big streamer that want the support for themselves, so then they get their community in on it a bit. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
and
Like I don't know how to
it's-
word that. Not saying that all
That's-
big streamers are follow for follow people. There are some
AJ,
lovely
let
streamers out
fucking
there.
him speak. I
Sorry.
just see they keep trying.
No, but it's the follow for follow scheme is not worth your time, and you'll get disheartened with how slow things can be, especially if you haven't already established yourself in a community or with other streamers, which is not necessarily the best thing to do either, because when you do that and you become reliant on a community, you are doing the thing that these follow for follow people are. So you're creating this sort of parasocial relationship, is it called, where
think
you
so,
are
yeah.
trying to gain from other people. If you're just doing it to be yourself and you're enjoying it, you're having a fun time, and you're not really noticing your figures, obviously when you are trying to get affiliated, of course you are going to be looking at your figures to see how close you are, because that's a big part about getting affiliated. And so you'll mainly be looking at your followers and your average watch time. No, average viewers,
Average viewer
viewership.
count.
Yeah.
No, that's YouTube shit. The average viewer count, because you need to have an average of 3 viewers, something like that.
Yeah, 3.
The best thing you can do is to not really look at the statistics, just because the statistics, you could be streaming to no one multiple times a week, fine. For a month, fine. It will come if you are consistent enough and you are enjoying it, because people will click on your stream if you are happy about and being there. You're not complaining about your numbers, because no one wants to be in a stream like that. No one wants to support someone that all they care about is numbers, because they will never feel valued by you. Looking at numbers is just a very detrimental way of thinking about it. It's just not worth it.
I find this more interesting because you and AJ both basically had different starts, because AJ was already in the community. How was it like?
That makes it sound like I used the
streaming?
community. I just want to clarify that I
No,
didn't.
no.
No,
Pretty
but
sure
like,
the community told you to stream as well.
Yeah.
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So I just want to know, how was it? Was it disheartening trying to stream when you weren't in said communities? Just yet?
Well, to kind of clarify what I meant by the previous thing, when I say it's when you actually physically go into communities with the intention of knowing you're going to stream and you want these people around you, rather than building the communities because you enjoy the streamer, you enjoy the chat, you enjoy the community. It's when you're going in with the mindset of, actually, if I start streaming, this community could be my community, or that's kind of just to clarify what I meant.
Yeah.
It's difficult because it was so long ago, and I'm going to be honest, I think Twitch is a very, because that's the platform we were from. It's a very different place now. So it's really difficult for me to give advice on how I started when it's so different now.
Mm-hmm.
Twitch is a completely different platform, and not necessarily for the better. In my opinion, just because I have been around for a while and I've seen it kind of change, and there's definitely been some really, really good things, but some really not good decisions.
Like a hot tub in the beginning is what I need to
not
stream.
to mention anything. But it's difficult. I think the reason, I always come back to the same thing. The reason why you stream, the reason why I streamed was well, I guess this kind of covers actually one of our questions, doesn't it? Why did you start streaming? And the reason I started streaming was because I was going through a bit of a rough time. 2018 was a really, really rough year, especially towards the end after I had started streaming. So I was so happy I did. But it was a really rough year, and work wasn't good. Everything was just very stressful. I was working quite late as well, so I'd get home and immediately I'd just kind of get some sort of food and then jump on PlayStation, because that's how I started. I didn't have any of this PC setup. I literally started on PS broadcasting.
That's another misconception.
thing.
I just want to say, whilst you've brought that topic up, is a lot of the time when people start streaming, they think that you need the best of equipment.
Yeah.
You could
I'm
start
happy to
streaming
turn around and
with,
say that.
like, even if you start from PC, you don't need the most up-to-date specs.
No.
I started streaming on I think a 10 series graphics card. Bearing in mind, like, the 2080s were out and all that.
Yeah.
You just
You can
sort
start
of
on a
need the
laptop if you want.
personality, don't you?
Yeah.
To carry the stream.
Yeah.
I mean, if your stream's really blurry, sure, it's going to be a bit of a turn off. But if your stream looks normal,
even if it's
just like your average,
like 720p quality, that's what most people still stream.
Would I get away with it in my camera this light?
I mean, hey, that might add some personality to it. I mean, that might be why people.
If your game looks pretty decent, then I'd say yeah.
And like
honestly,
your
it doesn't
gameplay, that's
matter.
another thing. Like, people think that you have to be good at games to stream. You don't.
That was one of my okay. So anyway, let me. That was one of the things that I was told so many times, is that when I was thinking about doing it, I was told / heard someone talk about me constantly saying they would never do it because they're really bad at playing games, and they would never do it because they're not that good. And it when you hear it so many times, it's just like, well, I mean, not that I want to prove you wrong, but it just kind
adds
of
a bit of motivation on top.
Yeah.
Kind of. But the reason I started was because I would come home from a really bad day. I'd get some sort of food, reheat something, and then I'd
have a
jump.
meal.
Russell's was a thing actually back then. Jump onto PS. Everyone must already be in a PlayStation party, and they're not going to watch this, but that's a huge shout out to the PlayStation guys. But it was just me and maybe 5 or 6 of the PlayStation lads, and it was just within 10 minutes I'd forgot about my day, and I was feeling really good. That magical thing happens when you put on your headset and you just ignore the outside world, and you just get into the online world. But my thought was, well, if I am feeling like this, maybe this could help a few other people, which is where my thing that I've always said is that, well, if I can help improve one person's day just from cheering them up or just giving them a bit of a laugh, just one person a stream, or not that I didn't even hold myself to that, but if it helps one person, then that's the whole point why I started sharing our games and sharing our VCs and things like that. Obviously on PlayStation you can't do just chatting I did Sims and just chatting. But you can't do just chatting. Maybe you can on PS5 now, I'm not sure. But that was never a thing. So it was always you'd play games and you would just do that. So for me, starting out when I had no one watching, it wasn't about that. So yeah, and then when you get a couple people come in, it gets really exciting, especially when you're getting all these people coming in, and then you'll get a bit disheartened. At least for me, because I was a little bit more. I'd worked out quite quickly that follow for follow was not a good thing, ever. I actually went back through my followers last year, and I checked if they were following me, and I think 3/4 of the people that I follow don't follow me, and they are people from like the first year. So it's just going to happen, and I learned fairly quickly that follow for follow doesn't work. It's not good, and people very quickly, once I started to have 2 people that would help out with modding, I felt a lot more confident to say, yeah, no, get out, like that's not wanted here. But when there was those streams which were no viewers, yes, it was a little bit disheartening, but I think the reality of it is the reason why you started streaming will be, how much that upsets you. If you get severely upset by seeing 0 viewers, maybe you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Like the best
it's
way
natural
to put
to
it
get
is,
upset, but
if you're streaming and playing a game that you play a lot and that you enjoy, just enjoy the game, Like, yeah, glance at like chat to see if anyone is chatting, but don't get disheartened by it because you're still enjoying the game at the end of it,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, and I think as well that also plays into the fact that because we were playing games and I wasn't streaming to stream. I was streaming because I wanted to, just in case someone popped in and they wanted to have a laugh. So I never really missed anything, but I wasn't like hyper focused on chat. So I was actually just kind of, sometimes I just forget that I was streaming, mainly as well because there was no one chatting. So I didn't see the little box come up in the top saying, 1, 2, 3, because that's what happened on PS4.
Yeah.
But that also meant that I got so immersed that I forgot that I was streaming, which, if you're inclined to swear or whatever, it can be a blessing and a curse. But especially when you've got friends that are so rude beyond belief sometimes.
I feel like that was targeted.
No. If they were to watch, they would know exactly who I was talking about, or at least what they used to say. But it's to say, it goes down to the same thing. People are watching you enjoy what you do and what you're doing. They're like in the moment with you.
You have a bumblebee pencil case.
I do, yeah. I do.
Sorry, yeah.
It's kind of cute. Though.
I was going to be careful.
Whoa! Careful, it don't sting you.
Yeah, so that's what I would say. But I don't really know what the situation is now if you're starting a stream. But that's my situation with it. If you're going to stream, do it for the right reasons. Do it because
that will always be the thing, though.
You want to have fun.
If you're gonna start streaming, you always need to do it for the right reasons. That's like one fundamental rule of streaming. Don't do it for the possible money or
one.
like the numbers or anything. Just do it to have fun, and it's a good way to get clips as well for like good gameplay.
Yeah.
Like,
that was always a nice thing to stream when we were playing like CDL or like comp games, or like when you're doing like game battles for COD back in the day. It was really useful to use clips from stream because it was just easier. Obviously you didn't have all these fancy options like you do now, but it was just, you clipped it, it was there, standard 30 seconds, that's all you need. And then you can just do what you want with it.
Yeah, so, like, for example, like when I streamed, I used to stream a lot of Rebirth back when like Warzone 1 was out. And me and Kellum, we would play quite regularly. And we just ended up trying to beat our PB, each game. And that was all that we do. Shut the fuck up, boy.
Regularly.
Like, we'd have fun, and like I'd chat the chat, and Kellen would be like, "Oh, wait, there's someone here. Be quiet. I'm trying to listen." But we just
never
tried to
said
be.
that. I play with the sound off. She's lying. False claims.
We tried to like just beat PBs, you know. Like I think my PB ended up being 20 something, and half of that was just me pissing myself laughing at Kellen. I'm pretty sure.
I have a question.
Yes.
Oh.
Would it be easier to stream with someone else?
100%.
Linking into that.
I feel like it's always easier streaming with friends because then you're always chatting.
Yeah. So say if you had 0 viewers, it doesn't matter as much because you've still got someone there to bounce off.
I've always found it more fun streaming with friends, and I think that's just because of the banter that you have with friends. Like, I think that's like my aspect.
I'm very split on this, if I'm honest.
Because you carried it on your own quite a lot.
I've had a lot of streams on my own, and there's a good and a bad side to playing with friends, and we're saying strictly as a newbie, right? As like a beginner streamer. Okay, right.
Pardon me. Sorry.
The good thing about it is that people can see and hear you talk. They can hear you talk. They can hear how you react to things. People. What I've been told is that people are always looking for a reason to click off, and if they are intrigued by how you sound, intrigued by what they hear, it's always a kind of okay. Well, it's easy. Whereas if you go into a streamer that's not talking because they're on their own and they've got no chat, and they've got no one talking in chat, it's really difficult to know if one, they're even there, if they've got a camera on or not. You don't know if they're AFK.
Yeah.
But also as well, it's really difficult to know how they will engage in a conversation. You don't want to start a conversation and then the conversation be like, yeah, good, you. You know, it's just so it's really nice to have that option. But then you've got the flip side. Yes, people can see how you react, but the thing that I battled with the most when I first started was finding the time to speak, to chat. And that's something that I don't really like doing now when I'm playing with people, is that I tend to prefer streaming on my own now very much because, I mean, naturally, obviously the chat gets busy, but I really struggle to know when to talk.
Social cues, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a problem.
You've probably seen it in the podcast. We're all dreadful.
We're all awful at it.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm pretty good.
Let's just play like a clip from like the failed intros of the podcast where Callum's like, "Oh!"
I think he's doing it on purpose though most of the time.
I am.
That sounds like Callum for you.
I need that start bit, you know, that funny start bit.
But the difficult thing is that as well, particularly on console, on Discord it's a little bit different, I suppose, on PC because you can hotkey the mute.
Yeah, like
other people.
Because I've only streamed from PC. Oh, actually, I lie. I have streamed from console when I used to play Apex, and I found it hard then, so I know where you're coming from. But because, for example, when I was playing Warzone and that, I always found it, I can quickly deafen if I need to chat and like give them my time.
I know, and I'm there talking to her and she's ignored me.
Well, well, alongside that as well, then you've also got that add-on to, well, usually you'll tend to, when you're at that stage, you tend to also have someone else that wants to stream as well. So when you're both streaming, and also particularly when you can't mute, it is the most irritating thing. Unless you've agreed on it previously and you share communities, it makes it a little bit easier. It is the most irritating thing when you can hear the person that you're playing with talk to their own chat. For your chat, for your stream. And again, if you've agreed with it,
chat to your chat.
Yeah, it's really difficult to know when to do these things. So, and I know that a few times when I started and I had people in, obviously I want to say hello to them. I want to check how they're doing, make them feel comfortable in the chat. And when you're playing games, you can't, like, I started streaming on Overwatch, which is the craziest thing ever thinking about it. But you can't chat during games really. And it's really difficult to just kind of maneuver that. And then sometimes people that you're playing with might get a little bit aggy because you're like, I know a few times where I was talking to the chat and they'll be like, they'd start getting a little bit aggy, like, are you talking to me or are you talking to the stream? Like, and it was just kind of like, where do you place those boundaries? So there's good things and there's bad things. But I think ultimately, maybe the best option there is that you can try both.
It's
you
always
can
good
try
to get
play with
experience of
people
both as well, because then you know how to. Say someone did come into chat and you were streaming on your own, you would learn how to respond to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and as well that you can try it with other people, and if you find it too stressful, just don't stream with them. Don't play games with them whilst you're streaming. And people, make sure you're around people that respect that decision, because it comes down to the same thing. I mean, we're not about to jump into a life advice situation, but if they're meant to be your friend, they're meant to be your friend. They'll be fine with it.
They'll understand.
As long as you're not ditching them, it's fine. But I would say if you find it difficult, then I would say, okay, we'll try without.
Experiment, see what works best for you, really.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of I'm in the middle with that one. I can't say yes or no to either.
I would also say it
also
depends
depend
what
on
you're
the
doing.
game?
I was just about to say it would depend what you're doing on the game.
Because Overwatch, it's a bit of a. I know, but I'm the question master, AJ. Go.
Yeah, I was about to answer your question before you even asked it, bro.
I was thinking of it like 3 hours ago.
Lies. But yeah, I would say that, like, depending on what you're doing on the game, like if you're playing, for example, CDL ranked, then kind of communication with your teammates is important.
Because I remember in some of the streams when you were playing Call of Duty, it was harder to catch up with the chat because of obviously it's a very focused game, and same with Overwatch. But if you had like a stream of Sims, if that was like multiplayer and you had someone there talking to you, would it have been the same?
There was a few streams actually where obviously Sims was majorly. It started me playing Sims, but also I then realised that Sims was my just chatting game. I was always a little bit sad that I couldn't just chat. I really loved the idea of that, but obviously because I was on PS4, I couldn't do it. And then I realised that when I was playing Sims, actually all I did was chat with a little bit of sim situation, what I'm doing here, what's going on here, and then losing my mind at something the Sim's doing wrong or something like that.
Set the house on fire.
Like pissing on the floor. I don't know.
Toilet's broken.
But I think I also had streams where people were in a VC whilst I was playing Sims. So I had the kind of group chat vibe going on there as well. And that was quite... There's a time and a place for it. That was the time and the place for it, but that was very stressful at the same time to talk to chat, because especially when you think that you can talk to chat, and as well for you as a streamer as well, you want to reply to them as soon as possible because they don't want to feel ignored. There's only so much time that someone will wait for a message. I know that I will wait a little bit longer in people's streams that I've been in before because I know that they would reply. So I'll just kind of keep the stream up, and then they'll realise 10 minutes later and be like, oh my god, I didn't see it. I mean, no one really does that. I only do it to people that I've known for so long, obviously, but everyone would have just left. So you want to do it as quick as possible, but so I think it's
a bit of a do you don't you situation, you know.
Yeah, but also I feel like with Sims, I got into much better conversations with chat than when I was playing games like COD and Overwatch, because obviously people can talk about themselves during a game, but you don't really have time during games to have a conversation. And most thing you'll see / talk about is good game. Oh, that was a really great game. You played really well, or you played really rubbish.
I don't understand
it was
how I
always...
was able to keep conversation during COD.
I don't know how I used to do it. It stresses me out beyond belief.
I think half the time it's just me and Kellum screaming at each other. So I think that's where the aspect of me being able to chat came in.
Yeah,
Plus,
I think
I
it's
do
a
feel
skill.
like I'm normally quite quiet when I'm in a PC until the screamer happens.
Or until I start singing Chandelier. And you're like, oh
Shut
god,
up.
not again.
Not again.
Oh.
Okay, so if I was to start streaming, what would you say? Just in general. No,
Don't do
I'm
it. No.
trying to. Don't do it.
One piece of advice I would give is don't stream a game because it's popular on Twitch. Stream a game because you want to stream it and it's something you enjoy. You know? Like, you'll see a lot of people nowadays, they start streaming and they're streaming things like COD or Apex. Like popular FPS shooters because they know it's popular on Twitch. Those categories are very oversaturated because of people doing that.
I'm gonna give some examples as well.
God.
I
Name
was
and
obsessed.
shame.
Not saying that this is going to happen, but it's a good example of not a very big game going very well or very good category. For example,
I know exactly what you're gonna say.
I absolutely adored House Flipper on PS4. Got it on PC as soon as I got my PC. House Flipper was somewhat popular, but obviously it wasn't right up there. That then means that, but I wanted to stream it regardless. I had not, and again, I'm not guaranteeing that this is going to happen, but if I hadn't given it the chance, it wouldn't have happened.
If you hadn't given it the chance, I probably wouldn't know you.
True, because that was when you found was the House Flipper stream.
My first comment was that's
You
nice
should have
wood.
never got it.
Oh damn! But we've had the devs for that game come in 3 times.
And they've been lovely every
during
time.
the stream. They are
just
like the House Flipper devs.
I'm sorry, but you wouldn't
they
see
work
the COD
their
devs
butts
doing
off.
that nowadays.
They
like,
are.
Maybe
they
back
are
in
wonderful.
the day. Maybe back in the day when COD first came out, but
I think they are my favorite, like, of all time developers of any game, because they do listen to their community. People will argue no, they don't, but actually the reality is that yes, they do. Making games takes time, and I think people just forget this. And then also there's the lovely conversation of console. That's not their fault. They have to work alongside Sony and Microsoft. That's just
I was just about to say, a lot of the time it's actually the consoles.
It's the platform
not being able to do it, you know.
But we had that. I was the top House Flipper stream, many a streams, and I met so many people through House Flipper. My average viewers went up because of that game. Now this is a game that I streamed because I enjoyed it, not because it was popular or because I thought it would do well. I enjoyed it. I loved every single second of it. And I never expected the devs to come in the first time. The second time, I never expected them to come back. It was.
Didn't the second time they come back, they took a picture of you in your high-vis? The third time, sorry.
Yeah.
Just for clarification, Nibs had a
This is how much I love this
She had a custom
game.
high-vis and a fucking builder's, like a plastic builder's hat that she'd wear during construction on the game. And the devs came in at one point and was like, "Can you turn around? We have to take a picture of this."
Yeah, and I took a picture of it. But it's so that's like my one instance. And then another one is even more recent than that. And that was 2020. My first crafting stream was December 2021. So it properly kicked off in January 2022, right? I started streaming in 2018 and I was always too scared to do crafting streams because it's knitting, because of the stigma around it.
You're not an old person, you shouldn't be knitting.
And people still say that. They're still, oh, you're such a grandma. And, you have to brush these comments off. But the realistic part of it is that them comments shouldn't be there.
You say, let me get your digits.
Hit me those digits, bro. Grandma looking like that. God damn.
My God.
Oh, God.
Damn. But that was another one. And the crafter section is actually, I will say straight up, maybe on par with the House Flipper, but it is one of the kindest community categories, like, or one of the kindest and wholesome and helpful communities from a category. because people actually follow the makers and crafters category a lot of the time compared to following a game, because they're interested in who they can meet, because it's such a passion thing. Crafts and stuff, it's not just I'll just do a jigsaw. It's a passion.
Hey, what's wrong with jigsaw puzzles, eh?
Well, this is the thing. They're a passion for people.
Yeah.
Jigsaws are actually incredibly fun. I've been doing one online for a month, and it's brilliant.
You'll have to link me the site, bruh.
I'm gonna make one for the Discord, so it's gonna be a hefty one.
Everyone join the Discord.
I just need to choose a photo, and then we'll go, and then we'll do it. And it's it's up 24 hours. But
why don't you do like your thumbnail of your podcast on the day? Just an idea.
Know. I feel like it would be awkward when it's like my nose.
Or if you do a surprise Pikachu.
Someone's like, got your nose! Like, waving it around. But yeah, that's like 2 examples. Is that I took years to actually get the confidence, and actually it was the community, it was you guys, and the community that said, do it. We will love to see that.
Yeah.
If people come in and troll, we just get rid of them. And that's why it's so important to build friendships and building these relationships with people that actually do want to be there. And you'll find that actually there's very few of them, so you should keep them close as well,
that show that they actually do care.
Keep everyone at arm's length until you know that they're still around and they haven't got sick of you yet. That's usually a good indication, how I usually see it.
When you go through your hardest times on stream, those that are still around afterwards are those that you want to bring in closer.
Absolutely. But also,
don't bring him too close. COVID's still around, bro.
There's also the flip side of that, where people that aren't so nice tend to latch on to the bad things because it's easier to get hold of you. But yeah, that's 2 examples that I have.
Okay, so would you say that playing a game that you enjoy helps with the interaction?
Yeah, if you're enjoying a game, you're more likely to get people that chat. Because if people see you sat there with a slapped face, not enjoying the game, they're not going to want to stick around.
Question.
Oh, God.
But that's my job.
This also ties into so a game you enjoy, right? Over just a game that's popular, right? So it's more that people are seeing the enjoyment than the actual game. How many times I don't even know if I'll even be able to come up with a number, has someone said in my stream, we're not here for the game,
we're here for
the streamer,
and haven't showed the support
because, well, it's relevant. But that's a genuine thing, is that people are there for your energy, for how excited you are, how much you're looking forward to the next DLC or expansion, how much they're there for the passion, they're there to be inspired, they're there to, God, this sounds like a school lecture.
Also, like, if you do stream a popular game, like I streamed a lot of Warzone, and Warzone was big at the time. Like, people like to see what innovative ways you can bring to it.
Yeah, they don't just want to see you get kill streaks and
no. Like, for example, when I streamed Warzone, I had quite cheap channel redemptions where it's like pick my loadout, or like choose something that I can't use, or like, pick where we land. Like, things like that gave the viewers choice as well to keep them engaged. Like, I think we had a match once where I was told to use melee only, and we still ended up winning that match somehow.
Was that with me and Kelly?
Yeah.
Yeah, I carried.
We ended up finishing on top of prison. That's all I remember.
I remember that. Holy shit.
Like, it's things like that like
that was one of the best games as well.
I still don't know how I managed to get like 5-6 kills in that game using just flipping melee.
Dodge, duck, dive. Again, we started singing. Me and Liv started singing in prison.
There's been but like that's the thing. Like, that's one thing that is good about streaming with friends, is you can have a lot of funny moments.
Yeah,
yeah.
But like,
if you do
choose to stream a popular game, don't be disheartened if your views are low, if you aren't getting people in. But think outside the box. You know, like, what can you bring to this game that's different to other streamers that make people stick around? You know?
But also, if your views are low and it bothers you that much,
don't stream. Sorry.
Either don't stream or do something about it. Post content elsewhere.
That's
Get
another
people in.
That is another thing that people
actually care about
nowadays don't
people.
realize is you can't just stream on Twitch, or YouTube, or
I regret
Facebook.
not starting my YouTube up sooner. And
Like,
the reason I didn't is because I was too nervous.
Having an
Biggest
outside
regret.
platform or outside content, even if it's a clip from your stream, like, you get a really
You're
funny
right.
moment.
I'm just waiting for the perfect time.
Post that clip as soon as you can, you know, like, edit it if you want to, and just put it on a different platform so others have more chance of seeing you.
Just along that, just a quick just a quick button when AJ said post it as soon as you can. If you are a Twitch affiliate, make sure you stay within guidelines. It has to be
always
24 hours.
Stay TOS. But that 24 hours gives you time to download it, edit it, schedule it.
Take your time with it. Put out good content.
Put passion into your content, and it will reflect on you well.
Yes. Sorry, Callum.
Over to you, Callum.
So, one of the things I hear about starting stream and why people don't want to, and because you lot have, is the fact they're not very good at carrying on a chat. Say, like, if someone comes in and starts chatting, and you feel like you're incredibly blunt to them, how
some
did you
people are just like naturally blunt, like, in the nicest way
how
possible.
do you continue a conversation? Like, keep the conversation going? Okay.
Yeah, in Twitch.
I guess you just ask them about, like, when a viewer first comes into chat, get to know them.
Honestly,
ask how they are, you know, ask how their day's been, ask them to, you know, tell you something about themselves that just, it flows, you know, it'll flow into each other.
Pretend you're talking to your mates, but not like personal information heavy. As well, you are going to have streams which you just sit there and go, oh, why did I do that? Why did I not continue this conversation? Why did I say that like that? Like, and then you know you've lost that person. But at the same time,
it's about adapting.
You shouldn't force a conversation, in my opinion. Yeah. You shouldn't be sat there going, what can I say? Oh, you know, where are you from? Like, you have to, it has to be natural. And that's not going to be something 9 times out of 10 that you are going to have when you start streaming. No. It's something you build up over time, and you can only build it up by experience. So you are going to have these kind of
awkward moments.
Streams and very much awkward moments. You are going to have a lot of them, I think, is the reality of what I would say to someone about that.
But the awkwardness teaches you a lot, you know. It teaches you how to overcome. It teaches you how to structure conversations on Twitch, you know, or on any live streaming platform, I should say, not necessarily just Twitch.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as well, sometimes everyone reacts differently, whether they're blunt or whether they're overly like they overshare. You don't know how someone's going to respond. But what you can do is try and adapt to how they are responding to you. If they don't respond to you and they respond to you in a really blunt way, it could be, you have to remember as well that if, say for example, you're talking in someone else's chat or you are the streamer, you have to be mindful that maybe they don't usually talk like that, but maybe they've had a bad day. Not that you want them to ask them about it, but you should be mindful at all times. I mean, maybe it's just because my brain's always thinking of all these different
but you have to remember that they are an individual. You know, they're not just a name on the screen. They are a person.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay.
I have a question for you, Callum.
Oh.
What's one thing that, like, when you join a stream as a viewer, what's one thing that, like, not entices you, but, like, what's one thing that makes you want to follow that person?
I'm very personality orientated. I use very big words there. I don't know if I made sense, but it's always the person for me. It's if I enjoy them.
The feeling you get from the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess you kind of ask yourself, do I want to come back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose.
And even if you have a bad experience, I'm all about giving people second chances to people, just in case I had an off day. But
exactly.
As a streamer, because obviously we're all people. We all have bad days.
Absolutely.
What was your question? Sorry for interrupting you, Mr. Question Man.
So, when you were streaming, how hard was it to orientate between going through the guidelines of the streaming platforms? Say, like, politics and don't swear and stuff like this.
I think it depends on what you rate your stream as. Like, obviously, like, no politics is quite a big one. Like, everyone will have an opinion, but, like, political opinions don't need to be voiced in a stream, because that is something that could potentially harm someone else. And I think that's the main thing about, like, for example, chat rules, is you want to try and prevent, like, upset or harm to as many people as you can, but you also want to have a sense of freedom in chat at the same time. Like, you need to be mindful as a viewer or as a streamer of what you're doing, you know? Like, yeah.
I would say that as a beginner streamer, particularly if you don't have people around you to tell you or have been in the community and you know how that works, you won't have any clue how to deal with those, and your chat will be a mess because of the lack of knowledge on moderation. Not to say that you're
Uneducated.
that you're not smart or uneducated. It's just that these things take time to learn. You know, you don't go to college and learn it all in a month. You don't learn it all in a week. You don't learn it all in the first stream, the first day. It takes time, and the more time you take, the better you become at it. Now, you will not. You might have some, again, kind of going back to you'll have some days where you'll go, I handled that really well. And you'll have other days where you'll go, this is the worst day ever. Why did that person come in and spread all this negativity and all this stuff? And as well, to mention as well, some people, their streamers or their streams they talk about politics. That is their stream, and it's definitely something that Twitch as the platform, because that's the one we're talking about, I think, in my opinion, has settled down on. Back when I first started, you didn't talk about politics because it was a bit too much taboo to talk about, say. But as well, that could also be because I was so new that maybe someone in my position, you know, that had in 2018 that had been streaming for 4 or 5 years already would think different, and they were talking about it. But you don't. In my opinion, you don't. There is no. You won't deal with it well. You might have a few times where you do it well, but not every single person will react the same way.
Even like experienced streamers though, like they still have their bumps, you know? Like
absolutely.
Like even if you look at people like, I know it's probably a really bad example, but if you look at someone like Marco, who's quite a big streamer, like he has a really good moderation team, and like you still see like the odd person come into chat that's a bit of a dick, you know? And like it's not preventable, you know, but you have to learn to adapt and how to deal with it. And that's what people do, you know, with time and just learning on the platform.
It could be really interesting. I'm just looking at the time. I need to go. It could be really interesting though. For I think if we were to make this a series, like how to deal with streaming, how to stream. That's the series, and we go through topics, whether they're easy topics, difficult topics, taboo topics. Maybe we could do how to deal with trolling.
I was going to say, how do you deal with moderators? How would you choose?
Moderators, that should be another
So
I
with,
am.
and I looked at the time and I went, I can't say that now.
No, that one
I'm-
itself would be a really good episode to do because moderation comes with a lot of safety, you know.
Yeah.
So
Is it just the trust or yeah?
yeah,
I think let's write down later. Let's I know we won't be doing GCP stuff then, but we
Yeah.
can come up with some questions. Maybe we can ask some people in the VC if you were going to start
Yeah.
streaming, what do you want answered? Even specifics down to how do I moderate? How do I choose moderators? How do I deal with trolls? How do I deal with
hate raids.
hate raids? How do I deal with raids? How do
Yeah.
you deal with the pressure? How do you deal with chat
Apologies for
moving
your
really
dog bark.
fast? So I think that could be really cool to have
I
a how
also
to
have a lot
stream
of insight
section.
on those ones as well because
So
I was very new.
I would
Need
be
to
very
moderate.
and we've also had many people that some are still here today, like in the stream, that should have probably been banned a long time ago. But it's really difficult to get rid of some. Well, no, it's really difficult to
It's difficult to know when
ban
to get rid of someone.
someone. Yeah, it's difficult when you are really good friends with someone or you become very friendly with someone, have a good relationship with somebody, and they get quite high up and then start misbehaving and breaking the rules, where if it was a new person they would get banned straight away. So it's really difficult to deal with people like that as well. I would really like to make that a thing. I think that could be really cool to break down individual topics
Let us
on
know in
streaming.
the comments as well if there's anything you want specifically answered, and we'll pin it, or we won't pin it. We'll pop it out. We'll capture a screenshot of it and pop it in the episode when we chat about that topic.
Yeah.
You know,
From
Some
not
say pop.
streaming, from not streaming pros, but streamers that have been streaming for almost 5 years and 2 years. So just from experience, our side of things. Yeah, I would really enjoy to do that actually.
Good.
So
thank you for all tuning in. You know,
yeah, a bit of a shorter one today.
Hopefully, we'll bring more chatting ones back.
Oh, we should probably explain as well. We're also going to shorten down the podcasts to hopefully around an hour ish.
Well, even
it will
sometimes
be
just maybe
easier
a little
to
bit
deal
less.
with.
Yeah, it'll be a little easier workload for Kellum. Especially because I think we want to start making shorts in that soon as well. So
yeah, and plus I still got the gaming ones as well.
Yeah.
So there'll be a lot of little changes going on, but you know, it's to make
at
the
least
videos.
it's content.
It's to make the videos better quality though. At the end of the day, for you guys. So.
But also,
AJ saying the same thing 8 times.
The whole
Shut up.
The whole point of this channel is for us to have fun, and if we're not having fun, there is no point.
Yeah,
we're not here to push a channel to. Well, exactly as we've explained, we're not
go
here
subscribe
for
to Nibs'
numbers.
channel.
No,
Yeah,
we're not here for numbers. We're not here for all of that. We're
just here to have a fun
because
time and chat shit.
We chat shit. And we wanna, we wanna help people out. We wanna, so
tell us of the experiences we've already gone through. Share some information.
Yes.
But yeah, feel free to let us know down below what you want to hear us chat about. Whether it's
comment, and subscribe.
Whether it's related to what we spoke about or if it's a different topic.
I said bye. We're ending it.
We'll catch you all in the next episode.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.